It's football and other F words. And Jackson, are we live on Twitter?
We should be.
I'm not seeing us. I'd like to retweet it, but I'm not seeing it.
Oh, an error occurred.
Oh, fucking Twitter. Oh, don't want to get too political, but is this attacking our democracy?
It could be.
This could be it.
Things are going sideways.
There has been a breakup today.
It's been a day on that app.
Yes,
it has been a day.
Has.
So maybe videos aren't being allowed to go live for certain purposes. I don't know.
Yeah, something with Twitter is down because your Twitter won't go either.
Okay, so I'm going to go to YouTube. But this is football and other F words.
Yeah, it is.
And you know what? I'm just in a fucking good mood.
I'm in a good mood today, too. I'm tired as hell, but you know what? I told you a little bit earlier. I just feel like I'm caving into some of these OTA clips that are going viral, making the rounds right now. The vibes are feeling pretty high right now, and I'm succumbing.
Keep going until I finish this tweet.
Oh, okay, I am succumbing to the darkness, so to speak. Except it's not Nosferatu this time. It is Cam Ward highlight clips from OTAs. And I watched their little hype video, the little 17-minute documentary thing that they made, that they posted on socials. I'm like, you know what? I just love these boys. I just love these boys, and I hope that they do really well this season.
So here's my thing. I thought the video was great. It is great for what it is, because apparently it is a precursor. It's an appetizer. A amuse-bouche, if you will.
I cried a bit watching it.
Why?
It's emotional, man. These guys that have worked their entire lives to get to this moment, and they finally have that moment. They get the phone call. They've made it to the NFL. That's touching. That's very touching.
Okay, I mean, like, I get it, but all the stuff they showed was already out there, like, in that respect.
Yeah.
So here's where I'm at. Is an amuse-bouche to bigger things. And I watched it, got nothing out of it. I could not imagine if I was a radio show or a podcast or an article.
Oh, boy.
That had been anticipating this to create a whole show out of a reaction to this.
Yeah.
Because you're just making up shit to react to. Because there is literally nothing to react to other than oh, it's good vibes.
There's one point in the video where Brian Callahan starts talking to Cam Ward. And I swear, I'm like, oh, we're about to see some actual coaching.
And then they put the volume down, right? I'm with you.
I'm like, damn it. Come on, man. Show us that stuff. That's what I
you're just vibing off the vibes, which I'm okay with.
It's
but I couldn't imagine trying to make content out of it.
Yeah.
As far as
here we are making
reaction content out of it. Or we're making reaction content out of possible reaction content that may be out there. I don't even know if there's reaction content to the reaction content. But I got really nothing out of it. I mean, because then you got the Denard Wilson. I will say the best thing I got out of it was I took a screenshot of Denard Wilson's PowerPoint, and there's Blaine Bishop, and it has Vanden Bosch next to him. I was like, Blaine, you were in the show, and you were in the thing. He was like, well, they didn't pay me. That was the best thing I got out of it.
That's pretty good.
Because Denard Wilson goes on to play, what does it mean to play like a Titan?
Yeah.
Tougher, intelligence, team, aggressive, nasty.
Yeah.
And then me and Joseph, producer of 3 at Chill, and Jackson, producer of this show, Jay Wills, White Chocolate, producer of Cover 2 in this show, got into it because Joseph was like, well, where's the S? Why isn't there an S? I'm like, it's because it's play like a Titan. He goes,
yeah.
Why does it not play like that? And we got in this big screaming match.
I told him I was dumber for having this conversation.
Yeah. It was so stupid. So, I'm not going to disparage the thing because, again, it's a launching off point for better content or anything. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
say, hey, no content. But like, there's nothing to glean off of it. I mean, there's just not. I mean, it's
No.
it's more of a personal from
It
your
is.
thing.
Yeah.
But the vibes are high, but the vibes are high in different ways because it kind of feels like, knock on wood, the Titans have a quarterback that knows how to be a quarterback.
Well, also, it's worth pointing out at this time of the year, every team, the vibes are probably pretty high
Right.
at this point. But with the Titans specifically, yeah, I did catch myself watching like the Cam Ward part of the video, and they're showing some of his reps at OTAs and rookie minicamp and that sort of thing. And it was just like, man, the ball is just like flying out of his hand. It's coming out so quickly. He's like listening to him talk about it. There is this sort of, I don't know, the dynamic is so much different than it was last summer, where it's like we're reworking Will Levis's mechanics. He has some things that we have to tweak and work on. This time around, it doesn't feel like that's the case with Cam Ward. He's an assassin, and he is conducting himself in that fashion.
Okay, so I got a few things off this. So he looks very comfortable playing quarterback.
Yes.
Will Levis has still, even according to Nick Suss and Braden Gall over on the football show 440 Sports, looks like still like a cosplayer. These are my words, but they said that he looks uncomfortable, still trying. Everything he does is a chore as a quarterback. So he looks like he's a cosplayer at a quarterback. But what I get to with the quick release, because I think this is a good talking point, because I heard Paul Kaharski talk about that as well, is that, well, we were all talking about the quick release of Will Levis. Well, there's two different things here. There's getting to the quick release, and then the quick release.
Yeah,
and I think Will Levis was where the difference is that Cam Ward is good with the getting to the quick. He gets to the quick release faster than Will Levis does. He makes his decisions quicker. It's evident on the tape that we are provided. It is evident to those that are at practice. But yes, both have a quick release, but the difference between even a average quarterback and a good quarterback, or an average quarterback, a great quarterback, or a great quarterback and an elite quarterback is getting to the quick release fast.
I was about to say, frame it like this: like, you can have a quick release without getting the ball out quick,
right?
And that's the difference with Will Levis. It kind of feels like there is just that split second of hesitation, stopping and thinking, whereas with Cam Ward, it's much more of a flow state sort of deal, where it's just he gets back, the ball comes out, and it's quick release. I don't know. I'm curious about the throwing mechanics. It doesn't sound like they're too concerned with the arm angle stuff. There was some stuff in some of the reps where I'm like, man, that looks a little atypical, but it's also part of how the quarterback position is shifting, because you can put the side-by-side up, and I think it was, I don't want to misappropriate this, but I think it was Stone Titan on Twitter that posted the screenshot of Cam Ward's release compared to Mahomes and to Allen and to Lamar Jackson, where it is kind of like, okay, that's just the way things are now. Maybe that's not anything to be really concerned about. The bigger thing is from the neck up. It's like the flow, the looking natural, feeling natural. It's just, man, I don't know. You think about how elevated quarterback play could help this team. And I go back to it. I know it's not a popular take. They were competitive enough early on in last season that with better quarterback play, if it swings a few games a different way, maybe it changes the complexion of the entire season. And then if you think, okay, well, if they've got that going into 2025, elevated quarterback play, the defense is healthy, you've got this coaching staff having undergone the rigors of a rookie season that didn't go according to plan, putting it nicely, maybe they're a little more seasoned, maybe they're a little more battle-tested. Maybe this thing, I'm trying not to bite on all this stuff, but maybe they're closer to competitive than we think.
Well, I think there's a possibility for that, right? Because, I mean, everything typically has to go right. But usually these things, like when we talk about C.J. Stroud, when we talk about Jaden Daniels, it came with new coaching regimes.
Yeah.
Why can it not be done with a new quarterback, but a seasoned now
Yeah.
part 2, kind of
Yeah.
like the Cincinnati Bengals, right?
Well, yeah, and I think it's probably just because of exposure. Like, we don't see it a lot because typically the teams that get these quarterbacks are also firing their coaches because they're
Right.
picking at the top of the draft.
Okay, so one thing before we move on, or I'll forget,
Yeah.
is how dare the Titans?
What?
How dare the Titans social media interns, social media department
Mm-hmm.
not have the proper oversight in place? How are you not the voice of Jackson Slater getting drafted? And this is not a slight at Tic Tac Titans or
Yeah.
Tyler. Like, this is not because it's Tyler.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's just not you.
Yeah.
If it was Dan Patrick saying it or anybody like that, I would still be like, how do you not have the clip of you going, oh boy, or no, you're saying, let's go.
Yeah, I
Let's
was fired
go.
up. I was
Like, you
fired
were
up.
fired up.
Yeah.
Major misstep by the Tennessee Titans. And I'm
Well-
not surprised that the social media team didn't get it right because they failed. And listen, again, not towards you, Tyler. This is just for Stoney because, like, this is not about me, not about Tyler. It's about you. You deserved, because of that video, to at least be in the video. And also, let me say this. You guys need a 23andMe because your mannerisms, the way that he acts on tape, it literally feels like I'm watching younger Stoney. Like, if he were to get into a bar fight,
Yeah.
he may be swinging hands like you did.
How many what was the question?
I think it's a slap in the face for you.
Could Jackson Slater and me take down a gorilla?
That's a good question.
That's the question.
That's the question. How many Stonies and Jackson Slates? Is that what's so different about you two from 100 men?
Well, I don't know. Put us up against 100 men.
There you go.
Back to back, me and Jackson Slater against 100 men.
I think that's just a major misstep because that's also brings an air of levity to it.
You know, I don't know. They clearly wanted his name. I don't know that I ever actually said his name, though. And I don't know if did the Titans know the Day 3 Megacast exists? Do they know that I even exist?
They know.
Do they?
Oh, well, I don't know if they know that. They know that the social media clip exists because I sent it. I may have sent it in a chat where there is another social media person involved.
Yeah, I know that Jackson Slater knows the clip exists.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
shouldn't that mean everything?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying again. I feel like there was if you're gonna use the Tyler's voice, Tic Tac's voice, fine. There was a space for you in that 17-minute video.
Well, maybe next time.
Maybe next time.
Whenever
take notes, Titan social media team.
Whenever Jackson Slater is the team's starting right guard in 2026,
or starting center,
we can come back to that.
Yeah, we'll have to have Jackson Slater on the show.
Yeah,
We're gonna put him. Should we? Okay, so Jackson, from a producer standpoint, Jay Wills, White Chocolate. Should we have him in actually Stoney seat, dressed like Stoney, and then put Stoney next to him in the other seat like that and have that angle?
Yes.
Yeah. But we start the show with Jackson Slater with Stoney's hat on, Stoney's Hawaiian shirt on. We start the show like that, and I just act like Jackson Slater is Stoney. Then we pan out and have Stoney in Titans practice gear.
I love this bit.
Just, oh shit, there's two of them.
Oh, yeah. Or the same outfit. If we get you on the same outfit.
Twinsies.
I'm going to see. I don't know his measurements off the top of my head, but I wonder if we are about the same size. I mean, obviously, I'm much more flabby at my advanced age.
Yeah, I would say probably so. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, like.
No, he's 6'3", 311.
Well, how tall are you?
We're not that far apart. I'm 6'2", 290.
I'm just saying we could get this done. This could be a great bit.
Yeah. Well, we need to contact Jackson Slater.
Well, you follow him and he follows you. You guys are
just shoot him a
like,
DM.
shoot DM.
Yeah.
Ball's in your court, bud.
All right. Well, we'll get on that.
But that
side note, I've heard he's popping old Bertha. He's out there.
Okay. I didn't know where you were going with that. I didn't know who he was popping.
He's out there popping Bertha.
He's out there popping Berthas.
Or Olga. Was the other one named Olga?
Yeah, Bertha and Olga.
And he's taking him to Pound Town.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
From what I've heard.
Well, you could hear the Bill Callen, directing him on where to hit him
back.
on. Yeah, get those elbows back in the midsection or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That's probably too much inside baseball. They were like, "Oh shit, cut it off."
Oh man, cut it off.
He's telling him to get his elbows back.
Yep.
Fire those hands.
When Jackson Slater said that he just wants to like run through people or whatever he said, TK tagged you in it and said that you're red hulking. He used other words, but red hulking over that bit.
Red hulking. Yeah, man. I'm happy for the guy. I'm happy for us because that was, a player that I think we both liked.
Mm-hmm.
And was also a guy that really seemed to fit like what they looked for in a player. And so when they actually called the name, it was part, yes, this is awesome. We're adding a new player, but it felt like a small victory for us, like proof of concept for our own draft guide and how it's geared towards the Tennessee Titans. And so it was, I don't know, it was a really cool moment.
Do you think he could answer your question about zone and duo, how to recognize the two?
Yeah, the inside zone versus duo. I'm sure he could. Yeah. But
See,
there's like a million different explanations for it.
Well, maybe Jackson Slater only has the one.
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
he has the one.
That's true.
Explanation.
It's like the same thing. Like people are like, "What's cover 2?" And what did Cody Alexander say? If you ask 10 coaches, you'll get 9 different answers. So I feel like that's kind of the same way, though. Jeff Schwartz made a pretty nifty flow chart that James Foster shared with me when I asked him the question once.
Well, I'll tell you what Cover 2 is. It's a radio show from 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday with me and Blaine Bishop.
He is a pro.
Look at that.
A pro, Jackson.
Jay Will's grade that.
He's asleep.
He's probably thinking about Switch, too.
No, I'm trying to recover back here.
Oh.
B+.
B+. Okay, so back to the hype train. That is, I guess, this offseason. We got clips today of Chimere DK and Io Manor. Io Manor catching a back shoulder pass.
Yeah.
DK beating someone. I think Xavier Woods came over top to get close, but he beat someone before then for a touchdown pass slung by Cam Ward.
Mm-hmm.
Vibes are at an all-time high.
Yeah,
and they're the vibe. I think the vibes at an all-time high are a little bit different than the vibes of last year.
Yeah,
because you have Rand Carthon, you have Chad Brinker, and we bought in those vibes, no doubt. Remember from the Senior Bowl, we were like, "This is it, this is it." No clue what the offseason was going to entail and how things were going to change from when he said the stuff they said on the Official Titans podcast all the way to then, but we were like, okay, this all sounds pretty good in theory. Now we're seeing what sounded good in theory last year and what sounded good in theory this year actually put into practice.
Well, I think part of it, too, for me, is that last summer felt a lot about the players they added. It was like, oh, man, they went and got Calvin Ridley. They got L'Jarius Sneed, all this stuff. This year, it feels more they've installed a new culture. They have put a new attitude in the building. And to me, that is something that is more permanent.
Mm-hmm.
It's more about building a team instead of a collection of individuals, all that stuff. And to me, that is the sort of thing that is the basis for a lot of the sustained success that we've seen for teams that we've talked about a lot on this show, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, like the Baltimore Ravens. So to go get good players is one thing, but to see this sort of attention placed on getting the right type of guy in the building too, kind of feels like the start of something new and something improved from the way it was a year ago.
It feels like 2018 Titans.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it.
And really that feels like 2016 Titans because I will say 2016, 2018 Titans felt totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Last year's Tennessee Titans felt like an extension of prior year's Tennessee Titans because there was no vision, clarity. that we're getting now. It's like with Vrabel is like, well, I'm the leader of men. It's like Patriots South, right?
Yeah.
Now that ran its course. With Malarkey, it was more like team ball, ground and pound.
Yep.
This, that, we're going to rely on our experience, and that's where that went. He strips the captaincy away from Taylor Lewan, right? Like, it was a totally new thing. Vrabel is a little bit of an extension with that, but taking that into the Patriots way, Patriots South, right?
Yeah.
And then it felt like Brian Callahan and Rand Carthon were given the keys to a tiny home that was pretty much already built, and then they supplied some appliances, and then the tiny home caught on fire.
Yes.
And now it feels like, okay, this feels like more akin to the Mike Malarkey Titans, really, with how that started out with John Robinson and Mike Malarkey.
Mm-hmm.
And, hey, maybe it's the same situation where Brian Callahan gets up at the podium and lies to Ian Rappaport about an extension. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is a different vibe of team even from last year.
It does. Yeah.
Where last year is like lipstick on a pig. This year is like, hey, you don't hear Cam Ward talking about himself.
Mm-hmm.
You hear everybody else talking about Cam Ward.
Yeah.
You don't hear, anybody talking about, you don't hear Femi Oladejo out there talking about himself. You hear everybody else talking about his infectious energy.
Yeah.
And his upside. Like it feels a little bit more selfless, but everybody's kind of identifying like the tides of change in the Tennessee Titans, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and in hindsight, looking at the addition of players in free agency last year, because I do, I want to give credit to Rand Carthon. I would be a hypocrite if I said he was a terrible drafter because I liked his draft class in
his draft
2024.
It's really weird. His draft classes actually have looked better than I would say John Robinson's last 3 years.
Yeah, I would say so too. Absolutely. But I think the free agent moves, it felt a lot like in hindsight, we got excited about it thinking, oh man, maybe they are just, a few players away from turning this thing around and maybe the fall off won't be that far and they can do this quick rebuild on the fly sort of thing. But in hindsight, the free agent additions kind of feel like patching holes on the ship when it's already underwater kind of deal.
Well, I think that's why they got rid of most of the free agents.
Touche.
I mean, to be honest, they got rid of most of those free agents. I mean, really the only ones they kept, and I may be missing someone, is Lloyd Cushenberry, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, and L'Jarius Sneed, which are the four best known names of his free agency period.
Yeah, I agree. And Kenneth Murray, the team's leading tackler last year, gone.
Well, speaking of that video, I did find it funny. Is like every blade of grass will get defended, and I'm thinking of Kenneth Murray on Josh Downs. I'm like, that will be every blade of grass.
Somebody tweeted that last night,
and
it was so funny because I remember distinctly the play, and I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here with Kenneth Murray ends up one-on-one with Josh Downs? That ain't ideal.
I look at it and I go, they got rid of a lot of those players. And listen, that happens in the NFL all the time. New GM comes in, everything.
Yeah.
But it also is I think when you take that plus the kind of players that they have signed and drafted, I think that tells you a larger story. Like those are all three parts of a larger story of what they're trying to do. And I do think that this video did make a point in trying to establish, maybe it's just propaganda and editing.
Yeah.
But the fast, tough, all that kind of stuff. Guys who love to play Monday or practice Monday through Saturday as much as they love to play on Sunday, they got that message across.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they've been getting that message across even without that video. But I mean, they got that message across.
Well, and part of it too is from the players, and we've made jokes about it before about, are these guys being coached up, or is this just a testament to Brinker's algorithm that he just happened to find these guys? But it feels like it's come across since these guys were drafted because they're in press conferences. Clips are going viral of them being authentic and talking about it this way, It just kind of projects like we want to win, we're here to work kind of deal.
The
Mm-hmm.
you said something, and then I was trying to think of what it was. Crap,
What did I say?
I don't remember.
Jackson, what did I say? Do we have instant replay here?
Play it back.
Play it back.
God dang, what were we talking about? And I was like, I was going to tie this in. Either way, I will say that this hype train, quote unquote hype train, is a little bit different. This idea that the Titans are over hyping Cam Ward or building his confidence to a level without throwing an NFL pass, fucking ludicrous.
Where is this coming from? I haven't seen
Well,
this
I can't
yet.
tell you where it's coming from legally. But yeah.
Oh, gotcha. All right.
But
I
it's
gotcha.
coming from I would say
People are talking.
like if you wanted to listen to wet farts for hours on end,
Mhm.
that's where it was coming from. Just imagine it's coming from a swampy butthole.
Okay. All right.
I
I know what that sounds like.
yeah.
So
Well, I mean, listen. There are times I get out in the yard and I mow the lawn and all this stuff.
it's summertime in Tennessee.
Yeah. I mow the lawn and then I come inside and I let out this wet fart
Yeah.
and nothing good comes from it.
It's like you don't know, like, was that shit or was that sweat?
Right. So I look at it.
Jackson just walked out. He's going to puke.
Yeah. So I look at it and I go, there's a difference between what the team puts out and what the player is.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And a player does not have to earn confidence.
Right.
Now, they have to earn other things, but they don't have to earn confidence. I mean, there could be false confidence, sure, and all that kind of stuff, but there's all kinds of first-round quarterbacks that come into an NFL team with confidence sky high. It's really more about, do they earn the right to keep that confidence?
Yeah.
Because they earn that confidence in college. They're a first-round drafted quarterback.
And then it's a new...
And do you not want a player that's confident in themselves? Like, what are we even trying to do here?
Yeah, like, let's get the guy in here.
It's like the burnout thing, and this is from Easton. But, like, concern about burnout, what?
Who's concerned about burnout?
Easton is. Or at least Easton posed the question to Brian Callahan about being concerned about burnout because, Cam Ward's coming in at 5 a.m. and they have to, quote, unquote, this is the kind of stuff that people latch on to, but, like, we have to ask him to leave. We have to force him to leave, blah, 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 because he works so hard. Like, first off, guys, that's a little bit of a selling tool. Don't be a sucker. Don't be the guy that comes in that wants a 55-inch TV and like, yeah, but the pixels are all more compacted on a 48-inch TV, so you're going to get a better picture on a 48-inch TV. And it's the last one it's our floor model. That's what you're being sold. You guys are suckers for buying into that.
I wonder, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you just have to really realize that, like, they're not really trying, they don't really have to force him to leave. Like, there isn't some security guard with, like, a box full of his stuff from his Cam Ward's cubicle saying, no, you got to get out of here.
I should probably ask Easton this in the group chat and not live on the air on Football and Other F Words, but he is a pretty damn good reporter. Mm-hmm. So there's part of me that wonders, like, did he ask that because he knew Brian Callahan was going to say some shit about how hard Cam Ward works, and he knew people would eat that up?
I mean, maybe there is an element to that. I don't like that.
No,
to be honest with you. I mean, if that's the case, I don't like it either way. Let me say this. It's a lose-lose situation for Easton in my book before even proposing it, and then proposing it with the guise of getting clicks.
Yeah, I don't want people to think that I'm saying that about Easton.
No,
I'm just saying he's a smart guy. He's a good reporter. He knows what he's doing. There's a part of me that just wonders, like, oh man, that's like viral fodder right there to just stir the
maybe.
masses.
I mean, he's in that A to Z machine.
Yeah,
he's all hooked up into the Matrix over there. I don't know. Like, it has become good fodder. It was because it was a question I knew to speak to what he's doing. It's a great question I knew to ask Blaine that would just set him off.
Really?
Because he'd be like, burnout. Burnout? Who asked that? You know?
Easton.
Yeah. And we had Easton on that day, so he had an answer for it.
Oh, good.
But, like, again, it's just when you have, okay, and this is not geared towards Easton right here, but, you know, there are those people that have built up in their mind in the pre-draft process, so we've talked about it, that Cam Ward is the next Patrick Mahomes or Cam Ward's the next Steve McNair and all that.
Yeah.
If he is those people, we should not be concerned about burnout.
No, we should not.
We should not be concerned about confidence.
No.
We've heard comparisons to Joe Burrow. His feel in the pocket is like Joe Burrow, or his arm angles is like Patrick Mahomes, or he has that leadership mentality, like you know, all these lofty names that get used in these then burnout's not an issue. But I think that I got over time so much information about Cam Ward, the person, the player, how he was raised is like, yeah, burnout. There is no burnout with this guy.
He's wired for this.
Does not translate to NFL success.
It does not, no.
These clips, these videos, what the team says, uses as marketing, what the coaching staff says in a presser, it means nothing. Cam Ward told you himself this week, well, practice is like only half of it.
Yeah.
This dude is waiting for regular season. Regular seasons, we need to make your judgments. And I understand it's a long off season. I'm not trying to tell people they can't, you know, analyze or whatever. But we got to understand that we're in a new world.
Yeah. We
know the story of Cam Ward. He's a 0-star recruit who played in a wing T offense, who ended up as a couple of years later, really 4 or 5 years later, like 4 or 5 years later, is number 1 overall pick in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Burnout does not exist.
No.
Overconfidence does not exist. He is proving to himself. See, everybody thinks that a player has to come in and prove to them. Fans have this sense of entitlement. Media has this sense of entitlement. The great players are proving something to themselves. Man, I wish Blaine was here. He would have fucking ate that up.
It's a bar.
He would have loved it. But like true players, the best players, the great players are always constantly evolving and proving them something to themselves. Yeah. They're not in here because they have a chip on their shoulder because of, you know, they got to prove it for the fans. No, they got a chip on their shoulder because they got to prove it to themselves.
How often do we hear about burnout in the NFL? I mean, even with like coaches and scouts and stuff, like it's not, I don't know. I feel like if you're going to stick around for anything more than a cup of coffee in the NFL, you just can't be wired that way.
Right.
You can't be wired that way.
That's why I don't think I think for this particular instance, it's not a worry.
Yeah.
I think now if you were talking about, gosh, I wouldn't even say that Will Levis could get burnt out. And you know I'm a big Will Levis detractor.
Yeah, that's my mind immediately went there as well. But from everything we heard, like, guy was a hard worker. He tried.
Well, I mean, last year they were posting up pictures with his car as being the only one in the parking lot at like 6 a.m. or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
man, if you've got burnout, that is if you've got a player in the building that's suffering from burnout, that's a massive ding on Brinker's algorithm.
Yeah, that's like, it has to be like, I mean, look at Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
He never got burnt out. Now, he may not have lived up to his ability as the head coach, and maybe that's because he was secretly burnt out or unknowingly burnt out.
Mm-hmm. Which can happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, we're kind of going off topic, but like, I just look at it, this whole offseason just has a different feel, a different positive vibe than last year's, where last year's was more of a sales pitch.
Yeah.
This year feels way more natural. And I think that's the difference that we should be emphasizing when we're in the media is there's a couple different things I feel like the media should emphasize. One is that you have to recognize in the media, this is an entirely different feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, you're at an open house getting sold something, and you are trying to be told like, oh, don't pay attention to that water, that mold up in the ceiling. That's no big deal. They've already fixed it. But look at this bathtub, this clawfoot bathtub.
Yeah.
This year it feels like, hey, look at this fixer-upper, but look at all the potential around the fixer-upper.
Look at the view out the backyard.
Yeah, I'm putting out some of the best radio content today, I feel like, tonight. But, like, that's what it is like, that you're in a rebuild or you're in the for rebuild, but look at the potential.
Yeah.
Not hey, ignore, the cracked foundation or the holes in the ceiling. Because look at this kitchen. Look at this kitchen island.
We just replaced the foundation. This thing has a brand new foundation.
So to me, it's like, I think it's disingenuous for media to try to equate the way everything is being presented this year to last year. And I think it's disingenuous for us not to also recognize that, hey, everybody's still got to prove it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only does Cam Ward have to prove it, and all the other draft picks, not only do the free agents have to improve it, the Legere Sneed has to prove it.
Dude,
this whole entire coaching staff, including Bill Callahan, has to fucking prove it. And I said Bill Callahan, not Brian Callahan, because obviously Brian Callahan has to prove it, but this 30-year vet in coaching has to prove it too.
Yeah. Well,
everybody's improvement mode. So we have to make sure that when we're talking about all the hype, talking about Cam Ward and all this, say, a lot of good stuff happening with shirts and shorts. A lot of good stuff that may happen in training camp. Because I remember last year we were told, Will Levis, Calvin Ridley, they'll fix the chemistry.
It'll get better. They're working on it.
It didn't until like week 9 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that as media, we are responsible for making sure that say, hey, this is all good, but they still got to prove it.
Yeah, and I think that's the scary part. I think that's the reason that so many of us don't want to fall for the optimism, because there is still that moment where the lights come on and it's live rounds sort of deal. And where we're sitting now, we like to joke about 19-0 or whatever it would take to win the Super Bowl. But, I mean, there's still a possibility that this team could win 3 games again in 2025.
And if they do, then everybody gets fired.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, as it stands here in June, it's important to remember the perspective from last summer.
Yeah.
And understand where things are different, but just keep in mind all possibilities are still on the table because they haven't played a single down in football. We got the chat popping off tonight.
A little bit. I don't know. To me, it just does not feel like last year. I think because there's an air of authenticity.
Yeah, I would
last
agree.
year, I think that is the difference. And I think that when you talk about sniffing out authenticity, I think we all also got a little bit drunk off of, we got an offensive head coach. Oh, look at this. We got Calvin Ridley.
Offense.
Will Levis, maybe we'll get more of that Atlanta game, like all this kind of stuff.
Bill Callahan's going to single-handedly
and a lot
fix
of
the
this,
offensive
a
line.
lot of the hype last year is not just from the team and their fault. It's from the media's fault, right?
Yeah.
Like we buy into these things, and that's why I want to approach it a little bit different this year. Is like, it's okay. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. Cam Ward, your ears do not deceive you. Cam Ward really feels like the real deal. He feels like a guy that's already a vet.
Yeah.
He has not thrown a pass.
Mm-hmm.
Does not mean you can't be excited for him in Denver to throw a pass. Maybe it ends up in an interception. And guess what? If it ends up as an interception, his story's not written week 1.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's just like we got to make sure that we balance out the positivity with proper expectations and bring it somewhere in the middle. Because then I feel like the fans and the listeners will be more even keel when things maybe don't go the right way.
Yeah,
or when things are a little rough and we're in choppy waters. Like, for everything that we have heard about Cam Ward and this draft class and all the stuff that we saw in that 17-minute video, they still have not came out and said that it's hey, things have changed. We're not in a rebuild for 3 to 4 years, or 2 to 3, I guess is what they said. They're still in that rebuild.
Yeah.
So we have to understand and make sure that we don't get bought too much in to forget that they're still in a 2 to 3 year rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a ton of holes on this roster. I think this draft, this acquisition cycle felt kind of more like really working on the depth, like developing guys. I think you look at their draft picks like Chimere Dike, Alec Ayumanor, not addressing receiver until day 3. Kevin Winston Jr., as high as he was picked, Femi Oladejo is a developmental guy. It was more about the long haul, finding guys with potential that had the right mental makeup to just kind of ride this thing out, because the team needed everything. I mean, they need starters, they need depth, they need a bench, so to speak, and you're not going to go out and get all of these starters on day 3 of the draft, but what you can start working on is your depth. And I feel like that's been a case this offseason where they've had too many holes to fill to field a competitive roster, but at least we are starting to plant depth and think about the future in several different spots.
Okay. There's a lot I want to unpack right now.
Okay.
But the first thing we need to unpack right here, and Stokely is so spot on with this in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
It has been bothering me since he got drafted why his name sounds so familiar, and Stokely just nailed it.
What? Whose name?
Kevin Winston Jr. is one hell of a NASCAR name.
Oh. How about that?
How about that? That fucking changes everything in my head. Like, that is why it sounds so familiar. Because I'm like, why do I know Kevin Winston Jr.? And not because of football, but it's like, man, that name just sounds so familiar.
Every time.
It is totally a NASCAR name.
It's so funny. Every time I say his name, I have to stop myself and say, okay, Kevin Winston Jr., because it sounds like a name where I'm like, that's somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not the safety from Penn State.
Oh, man, that's so good.
That's good. That's a good comment.
I guess when I look at this team and where it's going forward, do you feel okay, so the Rand Carthon firing was such a weird time because I felt like the Tennessee Titans did a horrible job with the public relations aspect of it, their messaging of it, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there was that point where they hire these people, or they fire Rand Carthon. They say they told Brian Callahan that, hey, you got to win, or you got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And if then the rumors came out that maybe it was almost a forced marriage.
Yeah.
Do you feel with how the approach has gone this offseason, looking back on that time, that maybe the forced marriage narrative was forced itself? Because I kind of look at it and I go, this does not seem like a team being built in its mind that Brian Callahan's going to be gone next year.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. At the very least, I'll concede that in hindsight, the prior regime felt a little more disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was maybe, I don't know, a mark of disorganization, but maybe it really was just, this isn't working and we've got to get out of this and get to a place with more synergy.
It does feel that way because obviously, it feels right now that it'd be really weird to fire Brian Callahan.
It does.
And it feels really weird to fire Brian Callahan even in the face of a 3-14 season.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little too extreme. I probably will regret that. Don't clip that off.
I don't know if he'll
in a losing season.
Yeah.
That is maybe 6-11.
6-11, yeah.
Then maybe he does not get fired. Like, because there were times where we've talked about, like, you have to win like 7 or 8 games, or maybe have to win this. And now it seems like when you look at everything being built and everything being put into place, that maybe he actually was this regime's pick.
Yeah.
You guys still got to win games, obviously, but it does feel like they built this team with Brian Callahan in mind for 2026.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah. And I think it's interesting to think about it today's perspective as well. Obviously, the benefit of hindsight, all that, but maybe he does kind of get a bit of a pass for 2024 from the top of the organization, because now they're looking back at it like, the roster really was in tough shape. The quarterback position was a nightmare, and injuries, there's only so much the coach can do. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this is a situation where they're like, okay, this is your rookie season. Like, we're going to forget 2024 happened. We're going to go all in, chips in on the table, this coaching staff, this front office, we're going to build this thing out, and you're the guy.
Also, sorry to all the Reddit readers. I'm not on Reddit, but stuff from Reddit gets sent to me for my shower thought questions. You know who you are, Reddit user.
Yeah, I got off Reddit, man. It's not productive.
It's just funny. He's like, I like Zach, and he's very knowledgeable, but I don't like how he brings his shower thoughts to the forefront. Like, dude, it's either shower shots or shit shot. Shower thoughts or shit thoughts.
No.
Or shit thoughts. You're getting one or the other.
Or shower shots.
Yeah, shower shots or shit shots, like our president. And I mean, that's all you're getting is shower thoughts or shit thoughts, because, to me, that's where I do all my thinking.
Yeah.
I don't do it while I'm playing Marvel Rivals or watching ER.
It's you should try pipe smoking. I like smoking pipes.
I don't know.
It's designed to slow things down. I do a lot of deliberate thinking when I'm smoking a pipe.
We had Kyle Turley on to promote his CBD stuff, and and so I still have all of the CBD stuff he gave me, because I'm such a novice when it comes to using any of this.
Yeah.
I had to ask my brother-in-law, like, okay, I brought it all out, and I put it on the table, and I'm like, okay, what's this? And he told me, and I'm like, okay, I'm keeping this. What's this? And he told me, so I was like, you want it? What's this? That's how I was going through it. And I still have not used the vapes, the CBD vapes that he gave out or anything, because I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about tobacco.
Yeah, I am too.
But, okay.
Well, I mean, that's not like pure marijuana or anything.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'm a novice.
It's just
well.
CBD. I mean, you can go down to Columbia, Tennessee and buy it.
But it does help deliberate a little bit.
Yeah.
When you have a pipe.
Well, and then he would just complain, I don't want to smoke thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
Just
I don't know. The best I saw on Reddit about me, because every now and then somebody chimes in like, who's the best Titans media member? Or it's like, Titans local media sucks. Everybody in this market covering this team is just fucking awful. And I'm like, man, I don't need to take the bait. And then I click the link, and it's like, yeah, this Stoney guy, he seems okay, but I just really don't like his personality. I'm like, well, fuck, I can't. What am I supposed to do about my personality?
You're supposed to lean into it and make it even more grating for that one person.
Yeah, well, I didn't change anything. So
yeah, well, I mean, he is furious
in hell right now.
Oh, my God.
Just like, this guy's fucking personality.
He probably looks at he logs in, he gets the notification. What if the zone is live on YouTube? He clicks in, he sees your face, he's like, fuck. This guy on Football and Other Efforts again.
Yeah. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was I saw somebody say, I like Stoney, but his film work is very suspect. And I just wanted to be like, what are your qualifications to watch film? Like, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I was like, this is not productive. This is not.
This is why I just know Reddit's a cesspool. So, like, I don't have a Reddit account.
It used to be
If
fun.
It wasn't for Easton and JT, I would never know what was said about us on Reddit.
That's who I get it from, too. It's
So if you guys are wondering who's snitching you out on Reddit, it's Easton and JT.
Yeah. Well, I said he's a good reporter.
Yeah. He's snitching you all out.
He's reporting. He's reporting to
I
us.
just don't care.
Yeah.
I never go to Reddit unless they send me something.
It used to be a fun place and people had senses of humor, but now everybody's just a curmudgeon on there just complaining about shit. And I don't have time for that energy anymore.
Yeah.
I used to have fun with it and I would talk shit back
I
to people.
embrace see that's the also thing about engaging with haters. And I think it took a while for the Cover 2 104.5 The Zone chat to realize, no, I don't really care what you say.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I'll poke fun back. It's like when the guy said that I look like Kim Jong-un. I haven't heard that before. Okay,
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just showing on Facebook that you're racist. I mean, that's okay.
Yeah. That's
Like,
true.
I mean, Facebook, they don't care. But I don't care. Well, I think it's hilarious that people think they look, because like I look nothing like Kim Jong-un.
Mhm.
Like Harry Potter, like hipster Harry Potter, understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I've gotten it all my life. You guys aren't going to say anything to me that I haven't like either made fun of myself for,
Yeah.
or have heard other people say in jest. Because I came from that generation, you did too, where you can make fun of each other
Mhm.
without worry of, anybody, crying to anybody.
Yeah. Sure.
And so, like, when people get mad on the chat, I'm just like, or, say something on the chat, I just like, at the first I'm replying back. They're like, why are you getting so mad? I'm like, no, I'm doing a back and forth.
We're working here.
We're working here.
We're working here, brother.
Yeah, like, doing a little crowd work here.
Exactly.
I'm like Ric Flair calling you the fat boy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know,
That's right.
That's just what I'm doing.
Mhm.
So, like, when the haters say something, it's like some guy replied today when we put up the let me find it. Twitter today when we talked about Will Levis, is he a distraction? Which, of course, neither me or Blaine think that he's a distraction in the locker room. We'll get to your thoughts on it. But this guy named Dustin at Big Chippin 1087 says, who could possibly want to discuss or listen to people discuss Will Levis when we drafted a quarterback 1 overall? I'll try listening again next week. Like, we don't have another show left. Like, you couldn't listen tomorrow. And this was in the first hour, by the way. I go, LOL, we were talking about your quarterback 1-2. Relax. And then he replies, just joking. I will be listening. Heart emoji.
I see people.
Yeah, coward. Hold your ground. Come on, Dustin.
Yeah, I still think about cousin Donnie sometime in the morning show chat when he used to say, "Oh, Stoney's about to be on. I'm out of here. I'm going to disappear for 20 minutes," and then he would come back right after my bit was done. It's like, how'd you know when it was time to come back? You got an alarm set for when my voice, an AI written to detect my voice is no longer on the radio?
Yeah.
Come on.
My cousin Danny.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen him. I think he's got a new account. I think
I occasionally see Brandon Scott in other shows chats. The guy that got mad at me for saying fuck on the draft day show.
yeah.
And
Did you ever find him and beat him up?
no, but we
Okay.
still get, what's his name? Where is that guy's name? Is it
Derek.
David?
Derek.
I haven't seen Derek in a while.
He
He's
popped up-
obviously cowered out.
He's
He
Probably
knew
running
that was
Sleeper
gonna-
Titans.
Huh? What'd you say?
It's probably running Sleeper Titans.
Oh, man. If Derek is running Sleeper Titans, I may actually have to beat the shit out of
Yeah.
him. Not even just jokingly. But, like, haven't seen Derek in a while. Just want to throw that out there because I know he's going to be eventually listening. Where you
popped
at,
up-
coward?
He popped up in the Hot Read chat the other day and said he'd missed a few shows, so he might have some real life stuff going on. So we're thinking about you, Derek.
Okay. Well, now you made me feel bad.
I
But
don't
either
know
way, I'm
that.
going to go
I'm
beat
just-
the shit out of Brandon Scott.
I'm just projecting. We can still beat the shit out of Derek,
Yeah.
but I hope everyth's okay. 'cause
And then, I'll see Brandon Scott and I'll occasionally pop in and said, it was about, so Dawn, the day that she did filled in for Will on Ramon and Will,
yeah,
she started a segment at the 53-minute mark, which is normally when we're trying to exit a segment. So she started that segment at the 53.
good.
So I
Yeah.
brought it up on 3HL in the chat, and he goes, you just need to stick to your show or something. I said, Brent Scott, I'm going to fucking beat you out of the parking lot.
I love it so much. I love it so much.
So, I just like to have fun with the listeners.
We love our supporters.
We do.
We love our supporters. What else you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, let's talk about this Will Levis thing real quick.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a couple different questions on Will Levis because you can go listen to my thoughts on the last 2 days of Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons over at the 104.5 The Zone YouTube page or wherever you get your podcasts like this one.
How about
you can
that?
probably find it there. Will Levis, is keeping him around a distraction or a sign of dysfunction on the end of Tennessee Titans?
Is it a sign of dysfunction or a distraction?
Yeah, because Mike Florio said there was a sign of dysfunction.
Why? I mean, what do you know the
Well, I mean,
context,
Jackson
the
probably
reasoning?
could find the audio clip, but
It's
you know,
audio?
yeah, it's audio, but we'd have to buy him, so let's buy him some time.
I don't know why it would be unless he's just
What audio clip?
The Mike Florio dysfunction clip from today.
Oh, yeah.
No, go ahead. You're gonna have to continue talking
Well, no, I'm just saying why would it be a sign of dysfunction?
because they feel like it's going to be a distraction,
I don't think
right?
do
Is Will Levis going around punch people in the nuts saying, "Hey, that's from Cam Ward"?
yeah, I don't get that one myself.
Hey, we got 100 messages on the chat today.
How about that?
We've got
shout
it.
out chat.
Okay, here's what Mike Florio had to say.
And whiffs and signs of dysfunction, that keeps you in the dysfunctional category. When you have 2 years with a young quarterback and it hasn't worked out and your team bottomed out and you earned the number 1 overall pick and you've drafted a quarterback, most properly functioning teams would get rid of the guy that is being replaced because it's just a weird environment. It just adds weird and awkward into your mix. That's why, I said earlier this week, it's good for the Falcons that Kirk Cousins is staying away from OTAs. It removes the awkward quotient from Michael Penix Jr. trying to take over the team. You still got some of that. I mean, Cam Ward probably is unaffected by it, but there's going to be guys in the locker room who's like, this is weird. And you just want to minimize the reasons for anyone to say this is weird.
I mean, pardon my French, that is some bitch-made shit if I ever heard it. What does he know about the locker room right now? I mean, does the locker room seem awkward and divided over Will Levis to you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's doing it from the Cowboys' perspective because that's the only way he's allowed in the locker room in his career. It's like, hey, I'm the Cowboy.
Yeah, I mean,
cover up them genitals. Cover up that asshole. PK's coming in. Cover up that asshole. He's going to take pictures of you. Is that what Cowboys do? Do Cowboys go in and make sure that they, hey, don't worry. The reporters are coming in. Here's a towel.
Let's cover up that
do
dick.
they even have towel boys?
Don't know. We need to quit calling them boys, though.
These towel men. Does that make a better towel men?
Towel people.
Towel people.
Towel people, yeah. I don't know, man. That just sounds like pure old hogwash to me.
Speaking of hogs. Perfect segue.
That's what they are, the hogwashers. I mean, well, first of all, the idea, how does Mike Florio know that they didn't try to trade Will Levis? Like he makes it sound like they're just making this conscious decision to we're going to keep Will Levis because we're just really dysfunctional and we don't know what we're doing. And I don't really think that's founded in any truth or reason, or just probably, I don't know. I mean, I don't know who his sources are.
I don't think Will Levis is purposely here.
Yeah, and two, how can you not? I mean, there are times that I wonder if this team even knows Will Levis is still there. It's like he is invisible right now outside of, that small sect of the fan base that is still like, Levis is going to be much improved, and what's going to happen if he beats Cam Ward in this quarterback competition?
Oh, I had a guy named, I think it's Vandy Chris today.
Oh, yeah, I heard that.
Did you hear it? He's
Yeah.
like, Zach, and he called me out by name. He's like, Zach, why don't you talk about what the media would say if Will Levis beats out Cam Ward? It's like, because that's not going to fucking happen.
Yeah. So I don't know. This kind of feels like we're grasping at straws here and calling this organization dysfunctional after you and I have just sat here for probably close to a fucking hour talking about how everything's all kumbaya, symbiotic, synergy, all that stuff right now. It just strikes me as out of touch.
Well, and also, like, where was this talk when it was Malik Willis, Will
Yeah,
Levis, and
yeah.
Ryan Tannehill all in the same room?
Yeah.
That wasn't dysfunction.
Maybe it's
Do you think it's just the Cam Ward #1 overall pick
Ooh.
mystique?
you know, if he's connected, I don't know, if he's connected with agents. Could an agent potentially be trying to get it out there like if you don't trade us, we're going to get the media calling you dysfunctional.
That's not a bad theory. Could be. Could
Just
be.
some
Could be
reckless-
maybe even a family member in the DMs. We know there are certain family members that love to get in DMs. So,
Yeah.
so maybe it's just that. Here's my thing, and I don't think there's any distraction or any dysfunction. It serves no purpose for Will Levis to
not.
be a distraction.
It does not. No.
If he is a distraction, who else would want him?
And-
There's already reports out today. I've heard. I can't remember who it was. I heard someone on the radio recently. I can't remember where I heard it, so I'm sorry for those that I cannot acknowledge it, and I do not remember who said it.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, nobody wants Will Levis, is essentially what they were saying. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I said today, too. Is like, there's a good chance that nobody wants Will Levis and nobody came in. They would rather have Sam Howell, who, by the way, we both probably would have ranked higher than Will Levis anyway.
Yeah, I
would want Sam Howell over Will Levis. That is a world that exists.
Yeah. And besides, like from what we know about Will Levis, he just doesn't strike me as that type of dude.
Yeah.
That's just going to be the me guy. Like, I'm going to cause a scene here.
Yeah, he's just never shown to be that guy. To me,
I'm going to hide all the towels when the towel boy comes in.
Well,
so
the
you
towel
can't
people,
cover up your
when
peckers.
when the hog washers get in. But like that's just to me, it's just like that's a made up narrative. Now, here's a real narrative: is that Will Levis, if he were on the team, should not be the backup quarterback. And speaking of hogwash, that is total hogwash.
Yeah, man, it doesn't sound like things are going too hot for Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle so far.
Yeah, I mean, to nobody's surprise.
Well,
to be honest,
I got to put my hand up. I thought Brandon Allen would be like the steady backup, less volatile. Could win you a game in a pinch kind of
like
guy.
if it was Josh Dobbs, yeah, I could see it. But like Brandon Allen is such a let's say this. People love to put out rankings and all this stuff. And I saw Sports Illustrated had one. And they had like Mason Rudolph either at 27 and 28, and then Will Levis as 26, 27 as the backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Those guys are where those are at. Brandon Allen, they may have to create a whole separate article for Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle.
Touché.
But it's like an archive. It's like an archived website. Yeah, we only have 30. We only have 31 backup quarterbacks listed. If you want the 32, you have to click here, and it just takes you to a separate page that just has one text line.
Yeah, and it's just a list, all of the text, all of the names in a row, and you have to go find it.
I'm not saying that they can't improve upon Levis in the backup quarterback situation. My stance has been is that, like, okay, Will Levis is the best you got on the roster.
Yeah.
If you decide to trade him, I am fine with that. You can't go in the season with Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle as your backups. Neither one of them.
It certainly seems like that's where we're at now. Yes.
So how do you view Will Levis in the backup situation?
I feel like he's your best shot to come in and win you a game.
Because he can get better. There's people in our chat today that said that he can't get better. And I'm like, guys, he's going to be behind a much better offensive line.
Dude, and I mean,
and the first time being in the same system for the 2 years back-to-back.
And I mean.
But he is a backup. That's his role.
But he's still, like, super talented, too.
Yeah.
So there's talent there, and he's allowed to get better another year in the league, another year as a pro. I don't know. I think the hate is
it's warranted.
As is often the case, you know, you develop a reputation for a reason.
Yeah.
But I think we can go a little too far with it too and allow it to cloud our judgment. And from what I've heard, Levis is clearly QB2 right now.
I mean, obviously.
Looks like QB2. I'm not saying that's information from the coaching staff or anything. I just from people that are at practice recording it to talk about it and write about it, the media saying that he looks comfortably QB2.
Okay, so next week on our show next week,
Okay.
I would like for us not to do it live. Come in with a sheet of paper with our 53 on it.
Ooh, okay.
Because there's not necessarily, I don't want to go position by position, name by name, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think there is a chance that some positions they're going to carry more than what we initially thought, which means that position's probably going to be inactive.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think it's a good thought process to maybe just look at how do we rank how many they're going to keep by each position.
Okay.
Not necessarily the players, but it's what I want to do for next week. Okay.
You don't want to have Jackson Slater on next week.
Well, if you can get Jackson Slater on, I mean, let's bring him on.
Okay. Yeah, I'll DM
Put that money
him.
where the mouth is. We'll have a whole episode with you and Jay. You got to figure out what you guys are going to wear.
Yeah.
Okay. And we got to put
I gotta put him in the Oilers hat that everybody talks about.
Oh, yeah.
And the Roger McCreary shirt.
Yeah.
And there we go.
There you go. I love it. I love it. Okay. I want to end on something.
Okay.
Jackson, I want to end on this, and this will be the last thing we talk about.
I have one more thing.
What's your
today.
one more thing?
If and I know that none of our listeners, all of our listeners are good people with good hearts.
Are you looking to get this cat adopted?
I'm not speaking to them, but
okay.
maybe they can spread the message. Maybe I should look directly into the camera for this one. Yeah. If you cannot care for a kitten, for a cat, do not abandon them on the side of the road. Moreover, do not throw them out the window of your car as you're driving by to get rid of them. There are resources, there are people you can call to take care of innocent animals that cannot take care of themselves. That's all I'm saying.
I'll say, what?
Oh, no, you're gone.
What happened?
I don't know. I can't hear you.
How did my thing die?
The microphone is dead. Oh, boy.
Dead battery. It was a full battery.
Oh, boy, we've yapped for too long.
Oh, my God.
Do you want to come talk on my mic?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll keep talking. I'll share this story. The reason I say that is
Hello?
because
We can hear you.
we can hear Jackson.
Okay, this is going to be Zach's microphone in 5, 4, 3, 2.
It's on full, too.
Oh, Godspeed and good luck.
Thank you. It was full, too. That's crazy. Full battery.
Yes, I'm keeping the cat, Zedine.
Okay,
Zedine asked
you're
in
keeping the
chat.
cat. But so here's my thing.
Come on in, Jackson.
Here's my thing about this, too, as well, is that I'll look in the camera. I'll look at the people that maybe possibly threw the cat out and say, if you're a listener to the show, don't fucking listen to the show after this. You're a piece of shit. Hope someone throws you out of the car
Yeah.
into the middle of the road.
I don't know what we can say on this show, but I would feel absolutely comfortable running someone over in my Nissan Altima if I caught them.
I will,
Make sure the kitten's out of the way and safe.
It's
and
like
then
the people
I'm
who
gonna run.
starve dogs. Like, I get them on
Yeah.
Instagram, and it makes me
Yeah.
fucking cry. Like,
Yeah,
I see these
I'm
French
with you, man.
bulldogs that have
Like-
been starved and left on the side of the road. First off, those are designer dogs. Someone will buy a French bulldog.
Yeah.
Like, you could have actually, instead of being a piece of shit human,
Yeah.
you could have literally probably had sold that French bulldog for $2,000.
Yeah.
Like, don't be a dumb piece of shit.
Yeah.
I think that's the motto of the story. I do want to say this, Jackson. So when he's telling us the story, Stoney's talking about saving this kitten,
I ran
stopping
out
traffic.
For those that don't know, I ran out on Friday. I ran out in the middle of the road, Old Hickory Boulevard in between Lowe's and Home Depot. There was a kitten in the middle of the road. Nobody was slowing down. Nobody was stopping. And so I ran out in the road, and a couple of other people stopped. We rescued the kitten, and now she's at my house. We've nursed her back to health, and she's ours.
But the vet secretary, I guess, is the
vet-
receptionist.
Receptionist, yeah.
at the vet keeps laughing at Stoney holding this tiny kitten.
In my hand. She was that small, like
yeah.
just fit in my hand.
And she's laughing at him because she's never seen a big burly bear of a man, come in with this kitten.
Rescuing
and I go,
kittens.
It probably reminded her of Coco the sign language gorilla and his kitten.
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's my little one more thing. Broadway sports ended this week.
Yes.
Now, for those that may not know, Broadway sports was started by me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna try to remember everybody that started it. It was me, Jonathan Boren, Ryan Watson, Mike Herndon, Justin Mello, Justin Graver, Robert Greenlaw. Oh, I'm totally missing some people. Who are you saying? Ben Wright came later, but Speedway Soccer was there later. I feel like I'm missing like 3 more people. Oh, Christopher Lawrence. I think Jason Pratt started it too.
I don't know who started
but
Broadway.
like there was a collection of us that felt that we could do something for those. Mr. Lebowski would be on that too. That we could do something a little bit bigger. It sounds selfish when you say it, but like we wanted to give the voice to people that maybe weren't getting the opportunities in old head media.
Yeah.
And listen, A to Z Sports was around that time and all that kind of stuff. But we wanted to do something a little bit more unfiltered, a little bit something more original, something more true to what the fans were looking for. Like Jimmy Morris would have been another guy that was on there. Something like Music City Miracles on steroids.
Okay.
And for I left in 2022, so it existed without me. I took football and other F words and all this stuff. I did other things because I wanted to bet on myself. But if it hadn't been for Broadway sports and the whole purpose of it being serving as a spotlight for those that wanted to break into writing.
Yeah.
And like, Easton.
I was about to say
Easton wanted
Freeze.
to write for it. There's a lady named Taylor who wanted to write for the Tennessee Titans, and she's now somewhere else in media world.
Yeah.
And then you see what Easton's done. JT Runk.
Runke.
Runk.
JT Runke.
Sorry. Or Rune, as
Rune,
my
that's right, Rune.
computer recognizes. That's a guy that came over there as well. James Foster is more of like shining the spotlight for him. But like all these people, we were all collective personalities.
Yeah.
But we came together for a bigger purpose to be able to create a platform that was able to launch people that wanted to be launched, that maybe wanted to dip their toe into the sports media water. It got me back into writing, which got me to Stacking the Inbox, which Football and Other F Words was already around before here, but that took us to another level. Then we partnered with Braden. That took us another level, Stacking the Inbox, and here I am.
Yeah.
So there were just a few minor haters
Mm-hmm.
out in the world, dancing on the grave, Broadway sports. The issue that happened with Broadway sports is that all these big personalities left for bigger jobs. So go fuck yourself. That's what I want to say. Those that are dancing on the grave with their little podcasts or these timelines filled with videos and all this stuff that 50 people watch. Mm-hmm. And this is, again, not directed to Tyler, because I know that Tyler danced on the grave, and his was actually pretty funny. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He sent that guy that was in the sunglasses,
The
at the
funeral.
funeral one.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I have a good relationship with Tyler, so I'm not really directing any of this towards him. But like, there are others out there. And the people that are still clinging to that 2 years ago, they made it like several times in the Titans' terrible Twitter takes.
Yeah.
Here would be my advice for that. Don't have terrible Twitter takes.
Yeah. Problem solved.
Okay, there you go.
Problem solved.
Sal, stick to Jersey or whatever you're doing up there. Justin Mello, who was obviously already writing for Music City Miracles, came here, then proceeded to go to the Draft Network, then went to 440 Sports, and now wrote a book that we all have to promote every week, or he'll be in our DMs and annoy us. Justin Graver, who went from there, Titans Film Room, went to NFL Network, Fox Sports, and now is still working at 440 Sports with Justin Mello at Underdog Sports Network. Mike Herndon, writing at paulkarski.com, also running $1 million business.
Yeah.
Sorry he couldn't stick around for Broadway sports, but he's running a multi-million-dollar business. Easton Freeze, already talked about, went to A to Z Sports. James Foster went to A to Z, 33rd team, wide left, PK.com, JT, 440 Sports, Speedway Soccer, 615 Soccer, and then me, stackinginbox.com, 104.5 The Zone. Mission accomplished. So to all the haters, sorry that we all went on to bigger and better things.
Yeah.
So I just to me, like the amount of people who came out to hate a website just because they put out, which first off, if someone would ask me, I said, don't put out a message. Nobody's going to know that you guys shut down anyway. I mean, to be honest with you, nobody would have known that you guys would have shut down anyway.
Yeah. Well, I get questions about it sometimes, like what's going on with Broadway, and
but
I'm like,
for the most part, let me
know.
say this: mission accomplished.
Yeah, it was.
It set out to do what the whole point of it was to do a couple different things: build a bigger community.
Mm-hmm.
We did a fantasy football podcast, which was the fucking best thing. It was the most fun thing I've ever done.
Shout out to one more for Wayne Gallman if Greenlaw's watching tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. And everybody else, this was a side hustle. And some of us went on to have meaningful personal lives and family lives and all this stuff and had to quit. Some of us went on to bigger and better things in sports media. I don't know. Feels like a pretty big fucking win.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, man. Like, people are going to your point, don't make it where people can dance on your grave, I guess.
Yeah.
But I saw a lot of love too for a lot of the people that, or from a lot of the people that really appreciated the dedication to providing good coverage of the team, good analysis of the team, which is something that I think was evident in all of y'all's work at Broadway. It was something, I hopped into the Flex every Wednesday night. I didn't even fucking play fantasy football anymore.
I think people thought we were all in it for the money.
Yeah.
And there was some money.
It does kind of feel, so this is a bigger issue with media, not just Broadway, but there are people, I get it sometimes too with Sobros Network, have been for 12 years, where it's like, what makes you so special that you feel like you can put your thoughts on the internet? Like, there is a little bit of that. And it did, if you were in the community with Broadway, which was something that I always felt was y'all's strong suit, was the authenticity, the love of the game, and the community. It always felt like I was hanging out with my friends, watching a podcast or something like that.
Which was the whole point of Football and Other Efforts and the whole point of this. This was literally a group chat turned into a website.
And if you don't hang with that, if you're on the outside of that looking in, it's easy to hate. You see people hate all the time. It's like, well, what's so great about these guys?
And I'll be honest, I think that we had certain media personalities that could be easily hateable. I'm an easily hateable person. I mean, I don't care that you hate me. But I will also say there was a little bit of an instigator aspect from some people to some people and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just ended up muting a bunch of people at some point because because I will be that guy that responds. And I'm just like, okay, some dude is still talking about me and I have this guy muted, because I'll get, people will always try to instigate on your behalf to send you stuff.
Snitch tagging.
Yeah, snitch tagging. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, good deal. Here's my thing, is that if it hadn't been for Broadway Sports Media and us finding that community, that success, I wouldn't have had the confidence to keep on going in this, and I would be in a boring job.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like the people that want to come shit on it and say, well, I guess, crapping on fans for their bad takes isn't a good business model. Like, dude, that was like 2 years ago. You're still clinging to that? Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Like, I understand we're not all entirely likable bunch. We're not everybody's cup of tea. But that's just going to be like the radio. That's, not everybody that likes Ramon and Will likes our show.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody that likes our show likes 3HL. Not everybody that likes Buck is going to like, I don't know, Lucas or something. Like, that's just how the world works. But to all the haters, we fucking rocked it. Like, we did it. Like, I just read you the list. We did what we set out to do. And because this website got shut down after, like, having, like, one article every, like, 2 years at that point, like, we rocked it.
When did Broadway start? When did it open?
In the pandemic. Because
That's
we
what I
all
thought. It was
opened
like-
it up as a kind of like, we were all kind of at home. And it was something that we had talked about for forever because it was all those people that I named. And we were just like, we should just start a site. We should start a site.
Yeah.
And then we did it. And then we were just like, let's do it.
That's still a pretty long lifespan for a digital media brand in today's climate. I mean, seen a lot of websites and podcasts come and go relatively quickly. But man, that was something. Broadway sports is something that it meant something to people too.
Well, and I also think that if we all would have stayed and didn't catch certain things of us didn't catch fire quick enough, then it would probably be a totally different animal. It would probably be a bigger presence and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it was meant to be a launching pad for bigger, broader careers in sports media if you wanted them. If you didn't want them, there was still a place for you to do whatever you want to do in Broadway sports media. So to the haters, we won. Like, this is not a loss that we're shutting down Broadway sports. I mean, me, Justin Graver, Mike Herndon, most of these people haven't written for the site for 2 years.
Yeah.
The only person that put out an article, I bet, in the last calendar year would be the Speedway Soccer guys who went on to start 615 Soccer and Justin Mello.
JT
I don't
was
know.
still writing.
I don't know if in the last calendar year.
But
last time that him and Easton were doing Hot Read, then maybe he was still doing it. But like that's really a long time ago.
Yeah.
So we won.
Yeah.
Suck it.
Why are you looking at me saying it?
Suck it.
Look at them.
Enjoy your little sick, ill podcast. All right. Jackson, how would you grade the show?
A-, boys. Suck it.
Suck it.
Yeah. Now we're
All
talking.
right. Stoney Keeley at Stoney Keeley, stackinginbox.com, Nashville Movie Dispatch, 440 and Hot Read Podcast, and
owner of a real dumbass, annoying personality.
And a cat.
And a cat.
And a new kitty.
And a new kitty.
You got Cover 2, 1 to 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Here on 104.5 The Zone. Other than that, this has been Football and Other F Words, and you have just been effed.
Boom.